Yeah, this is a number one title shot. The winner of this will fight for the belt. This guy Shoko Sato has already fight the champion Naoki Inoue. And that was a very close fight. Now, with me fighting Shoko Sato, if I get a win here, I will fight for the belt, and I will fight New Year's Eve in that beautiful Saitama Arena.
From MMA Island. Christopher De Santiago with MMA On. Today I'm talking to a former Bellator title challenger and rising star, the Italian gangster himself, Mr. Danny Sabatello, ahead of his next fight on September 28th. Danny, how's it going today, man?
I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. I believe this is your third time fighting in Japan, is that correct?
Yep, third time. And every time I go there, it's even better than the last.
Awesome, man. And you fought for PFL, Bellator, Contender Series. I guess how does RIZIN compare to other promotions in the past?
Yeah, RIZIN blows everybody out of the water. It's no surprise when you go over there in Japan, kind of where martial arts started. The fans are crazy. So many people are in tune with it. And so many people are knowledgeable within the sport in RIZIN. With the fights, usually over there in Japan, sometimes you're in South Korea and that really area. That's really a hotbed for MMA. When you fight over there in Japan, you fight in front of knowledgeable fans that really understand the skill set and the techniques that are going on. Sometimes when you're fighting over here in the States, people are crazy, but they don't really understand fighting. They just want you to knock someone's fucking head off. But when I'm over there in RIZIN, that they understand, all the techniques that I'm using. The promotion is very professional. They're the best I've worked with so far. And it's just gonna get started here, and it's gonna be absolutely electric.
And I see the reception that you're getting from the Japanese fans. I feel like they have a lot more respect than the American fans. Would you say that that's the case here?
Yeah, absolutely. I know I'm a little bit different out there. For starters, the Japanese out there are very respectful. The culture is absolutely insane. They're very nice to each other, very respectful for each other. I'm kind of the opposite. They don't really see a cat like me over there. I'm not very respectful at all. I hate my opponent. I talk trash. It's just what I do. That's who I am. When I first got signed with RIZIN, a lot of people were telling me to abide by their culture and kind of be like one of their fighters, but fuck that. I'm always going to be myself. I'm not going to be fake or corny like these other fighters. I'm always going to bring Danny Sabatello no matter where I'm fighting. So I think they kind of appreciate that. Sometimes when you get in interviews and you get in front of a microphone, people become fake. And whether it's entertaining or not entertaining, I just don't like fake shit. I like being myself. So when I go over there, I'm myself, and it's been very positive. I know a lot of people out there love me. They see me as a superstar. It's only going to get bigger. But I also know a lot of people aren't going to like me, and a lot of people already do hate me. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I am my way, and it's very different from other people, and it's very different than what Japan is used to. So I think whenever somebody is different and they bring something different to the table, it's kind of more entertaining in their eyes. So I know whenever I fight over there in Japan, people are very excited for my fights. I feel this fight specifically with Shoko Sato, September 28th and September 28th. People are very excited for it. It's not even the main event. It's not for a belt yet, but I feel like it's the people's main event just because people always watch when I fight. They either want me to get knocked out or to knock the other guy out. That's just what I bring to the table.
Awesome, man. And I feel like we got like I want to say vintage, but I feel like we got a new Danny Sabatello last time out. I guess how gratifying was that win, giving everything, given how the last few fights went? How gratifying was it to get redemption in Japan?
Yeah, it was absolutely a dream come true. I fought an Olympic silver medalist in wrestling in Shinobu Ota, a very high level guy. He's one of their heroes over there in Japan, and I absolutely starched him. I beat the shit out of him. I showed that right away. I'm the better wrestler, and I took him down right away. And after that, after I proved that I was the better wrestler there, I wanted to piece him up with my hands and my kicks and everything. And that's just what I did. I landed about 17 zillion strikes on his face, and then I ended up finishing him. And that's kind of what the fans wanted to see. So it was picture perfect in my book. I'm very happy over there. I think when a fighter is happy, they perform at their best. I'm finally in an organization where it's not too frustrating, where I'm not kind of wondering when I'm going to fight and if I'm going to fight. There's no really bullshit. They're very professional over there in RIZIN. And again, when you have things laid out, when you have clear communication, because us as fighters, all we really want is communication. When you have that, you're able to free of the stress and just go out there and perform. And over there in RIZIN, I'm going to be at my peak, when I don't have to really worry about anything except for fighting and talking shit. Those are my two jobs: fight, talk shit, and make weight. It's just going to be the best Danny Sabatello, the Italian gangster. So that fight specifically, it was in the Tokyo Dome, absolutely massive, 50,000 people. Never seen anything like that in my fucking life. One of the best days of my life. And again, it was a dream come true. Couldn't have went any more perfect. Very high level opponent, and what a debut. I think it was one of the best debuts in MMA history.
Who has been helping you with your striking? Because like I feel like we did see a new Danny last time out.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I get the reputation of a grappler, but that's just because my grappling is better than everybody. I'm not going to be dumb and just go into an area that I'm not better than everybody at. If I'm the best grappler in the world, why wouldn't I grapple? But I'm also becoming one of the best strikers in the world. So I wanted to show that off. I have a lot of striking coaches. I have a lot of teammates that help me with my striking. With specifically now fighting a lot of Japanese fighters, I've been going a lot with Kyoji Horiguchi, and also Rinya. But it's just pretty much fine tuning my striking. I've always had it. Now I'm just able to go out there and not really give a fuck. I'm not going out there anymore to kind of get a win just to see, just to perform how the judges would see a winning fighter perform. I kind of am going out there with not giving a fuck. It's too hard to fight and try to appease the judges because who knows what the fuck they're looking at. So mainly my style now is just to go out there and beat the fuck out of the guy. If I do that, I'm gonna win. Don't worry about the judges. Don't worry about point fighting. Don't worry about whatever they see or what they don't see. Go out there, fight Danny Sabatello style. Pretty reckless, very high intensity. I got the best conditioning in MMA. As long as I do that, I'm going to get the win, and most of the time I'm going to get the finish. But with the striking specifically, I think I'm the best striker in RIZIN. I'm one of the best strikers in the bantamweight world. And I keep putting that on display, and people will be able to see that.
Hmm. I believe your next opponent is the most experienced of your career. I think he has 56 fights. I guess does that change anything about how you prepare for a veteran like?
Yeah, not really. He's a massive veteran. Obviously, with that many pro fights, you're going to have some tricks up your sleeve and you're going to be able to weather some storms. Usually, you don't really get too tired because you don't really have that adrenaline dump in the first round or anything like that. They're very cautious with how they fight. But nothing really changes. I'm better than this guy everywhere. I know everybody always says that in interviews, they're better than someone everywhere. But with this specifically, if you just look at the tape, you'll see that I'm better everywhere. The good thing is that it's fighting for him, and anything could fucking happen. Obviously, people can get finished with a blink of an eye. Defense is so important. If your defense is out of place for a split second, your life can go out and you can lose the fight. That's the bonus for him. But the bonus for me is being better everywhere. As long as I go out there, fight my fight, and not really put too much into depth thinking of, oh, he's a veteran, he might have some tricks. It should really be an easy day. Obviously, I believe in film work. I've watched some of his fights with my coaches and my teammates. He has some tricks. He's very tricky. He throws up a buggy choke, which you don't really see too many times in MMA. He has things of that nature. Some things that you have to just go over the defense with and just fine tune and kind of be on the lookout for. When you fight a veteran, they are very sneaky. Those are the hardest guys to fight because there's nothing like cage and ring time. But other than that, I'm just gonna go out there, kick him in the fucking head, and knock him out. It's not that hard of a idea to concept. I don't have to think too much. Go out there, fuck him up. He could be in 3,000 fights of his life. It doesn't really fucking matter to me. I'm gonna go out there and put my elbow through his skull. How's that gonna change what his experience is? So obviously, preparation and everything, you go through all of his fights. I have a lot of footage. That's the bonus with a guy that has fought a ton of time. You have a lot of footage that you can watch. I know his tendencies. I know what he wants before he even wants it. And I'm going to be able to exploit him both mentally and physically.
And you get back-to-back wins here. You get back-to-back finishes. I guess what are the implications of a win here, Danny?
Yeah, this is a number one title shot. The winner of this will fight for the belt. This guy, Shoko Sato, has already fight the champion, Naoki Inoue. And that was a very close fight. And Inoue won, obviously. Now, with me fighting Shoko Sato, if I get a win here, I will fight for the belt. And I will fight New Year's Eve in that beautiful Sayatama Arena. But first, I got to take care of business with Shoko Sato. That's why this is such a big fight. That's why I see on Japanese Twitter, Instagram, everybody's so excited for this fight. Is because I win this fight, I'll fight for the belt. And you know what? I'm going to be an absolute superstar over there in Japan, but I got to win. I can talk as much trash as I want, but if I don't win, I'm not going to be a star. I'm not going to get that belt. So I got to fuck this guy up. It's a massive fucking fight. It's a very exciting fight. This guy's good. He has a lot of finishes. He's beaten a lot of good guys. He's very tricky, very savvy. Been in the ring more than almost anybody in all of MMA. Ton of fucking fights. That's why it's just so exciting. We're in Nagoya at the IG Arena, which is going to be sold out around 20,000 people. That's just what Japan does. That's how they roll. They bring people to the arena and they sell shit out. Everybody in Japan is going to be watching our fights. It's going to be a very high implicate fight. And that's when I shine the best. When I have the most eyes on me, the most attention, the most pressure, that's when I shine the best. So that's why this one is going to be massive. I fuck him up and I will fight for the belt.
Wow, like 20,000 fans in Japan. I mean, that sounds crazy. Are you gonna have 6ix9ine as your walkout song, or what's gonna be your walkout song this time around?
Yeah, we're gonna have to see that on fight night. I've had a couple songs that I've had multiple times, but I've also had new songs. I'm kind of a guy that rolls with how I'm feeling. I kind of just whatever I'm feeling at the time, I do. Even with my warm-up music, if I'm feeling a certain way, I'll set this type of music, and if I'm feeling a different way, I set that type of music. I told RIZIN already my walkout song, what you have to do, but I also change it up the day of. If I'm feeling a certain way, if I'm feeling a certain type of music, then I switch it up. So I guess we're just gonna have to see in Nagoya September 28th. And my walkouts are always electric. For starters, RIZIN walkouts are the best walkouts in all of MMA. That's not even an opinion. That's just a fact. That's just what the fuck it is. So I'm very excited with the walkout. I'm very excited with the hype. I'm very excited with the fight. RIZIN shows are just the best in my opinion. And if you haven't seen a RIZIN show, you got to tune in. Watch a RIZIN show because it'll change your view on MMA. It's absolutely amazing. It feels like more than MMA. If you're a fight fan, obviously it's good for you. But even if you're not a fight fan, you watch a RIZIN show and it just feels like a whole event. You don't even have to be a diehard fighter to watch these events. It's exciting for everybody. They got fire, they got loud music. Sometimes they have people singing and performing. It's a whole event at these RIZIN shows. It's very awesome. And my walkout is always electric. We're just going to have to see it September 28th.
Awesome, Danny. I gotta ask, man, like, how has your view changed on fighting since you like first started and to now? How has your view on fighting changed?
Yeah, not very much. I've always been a fighter my entire life. I've always absolutely loved fighting. My entire life, I knew I was going to be a fighter. Even with my wrestling career, I started wrestling when I was 6 years old. Always knew when I was done wrestling, I would go into fighting. Obviously, you get more knowledgeable over the years, and now that I've become more of a veteran of the sport and done it for a while now, I am approaching my prime. I just have more techniques and more knowledge of the sport. I think that with the knowledge, it becomes more of not trying to please the judges. Um, you know, uh, MMA is an imperfect sport. This isn't football where if the ball crosses the goal line, it's a touchdown. It's not basketball. If the ball falls in the hoop, it's a basket, whatever the fuck those pussies call it. But in MMA, it's all subjective. It always will be, and you can't put too much thought in it. If you think about it too much, what the judges are seeing, I've learned through the hard way, that's when you find yourself in trouble. If you go out there and you just fight your style, fight your fight, good things will come. And that's specifically with me. With me being better than all my opponents, I just gotta not worry about the judges or anything like that. Go out there and fight my fight, and I'll win. I fight at I fight at I represent the best gym in the world at American Top Team, so I have the best training partners. I know how good I am. I know that I'm the best in the world. So as long as I go out there on fight night and I fight like Danny Sabatello, nobody will beat me. And that's really pretty much what I've learned. You don't want to outsmart the judges. You don't want to do anything else. You just got to focus on being you. And specifically me, I got to focus on being Danny Sabatello. Shoko Sato, unfortunately, has to focus on hitting an absolute grand slam because he has no fucking chance of beating me. But I've learned a lot through the years, and I fall in love more and more by the day with this sport.
Mhm. And Danny, you're honestly one of the most confident fighters I've ever talked to. I guess where do you get your mentality from? Was there people in your life that really helped you start to believe in yourself? And I guess where does that mentality come from?
Yeah, I've been this way my whole life. Whether it's fighting or not fighting, I'm always very confident. To me, I don't see the point in not being confident. If you're confident, you just have a better chance of winning. If you're not confident, then you have a better chance of losing. So might as well be confident, might as well believe in yourself. But my confidence also comes through my preparation. I know how good I am. This isn't just me talking shit and not knowing anything or not training hard. I know that when I train with the best fighters in the world and I am one of the hardest workers, And, I'm one of the smartest guys. I have the God-given abilities. I have the speed, I have the strength, I have the conditioning. I got the wrestling background. I have the striking. I have everything. I have the best coaches, best teammates. Then I really should be the best in the world. When I say things that those are things that I actually believe because I better. I've put myself in a scenario to fight out of the best gym. I put myself in a scenario to learn from the best coaches in the world, to train with the best training partners. So I better be the best in the fucking world. If I am one of the tallest guys, I have one of the longest reaches, I have my God-given ability to be the best conditioning guy in MMA, then you know what? I just got to go out there and fight night and prove it. The confidence with me, it'll always be a thing. I'll always be confident, but that also comes with, knowing that I am better than these guys. This isn't just me guessing. If I fought out of some small shitty gym and I said that I'm the best, I might not believe it just because I don't know what's out there. I don't know how good people are. I've been in there with the best guys in the world. I know how good I am, and I know my abilities.
I guess looking at your potential, you keep racking up finishes. I know you're happy with RIZIN, but I feel like more and more Bellator fighters are wanting UFC, and we're starting to see some of them go to UFC like Pitbull and MVP. I guess I know RIZIN's right here right now, but I guess do you see UFC in your future at some point?
Yeah, it's possible. I could do a lot of things, but I can't tell the future. I'm very happy with RIZIN right now. If it were up to me, the way things are going, I would have 75,000 fights in RIZIN and then retire in RIZIN. But, who knows what the future holds? The UFC, obviously, a great organization. RIZIN, obviously, a great organization. The UFC doesn't need me. I don't need them. It's possible in the future. I know they get the most eyeballs here in America. But we'll see. I'm very happy for all the fighters that got out of contracts and were able to go to the UFC and put their skills on display and kind of make those divisions even deeper. But for me specifically, I'm very happy with RIZIN. I've got a tough task ahead of myself. I've got a lot of high level guys that I need to knock down in order to feel satisfied in this sport. I need to get that beautiful RIZIN belt, and then we'll see. But as far as right now, I don't have that thought in the back of my mind. The UFC, those three letters are just the farthest thing from my mind. All I'm thinking about is RIZIN, and putting on a show for these great fans of Japan. I go on Twitter and I go on Instagram and I read things that these guys are saying. And I absolutely love it because they love me over there. So I'm gonna do them right because they're doing me right. Right now it would just feel an injustice to them to go anywhere else other than RIZIN. I just love it so much. I have a home there. And this isn't just me saying things. This is a promise. I will stay with RIZIN because I don't want to go anywhere else other than RIZIN.
It's awesome, man. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for you, Danny. I just want to thank you again for the time. Do you have anything to say to the Italian gangster fans watching, man?
Yeah, absolutely. Over there in Japan, they're 13 hours ahead. So a bit of a time difference. Obviously, you would have to stay up late to watch my fights, but I promise you, you won't regret it. At least just try it one time. Get fucked up with your friends and tune in and watch one of my fights. It's just an absolute blast. Watch one of these shows. I guarantee you won't regret it. And if you do not like it, then you'll know. But I guarantee you, you will absolutely love a RIZIN fight, specifically my fights, because everybody knows my fights are different. So tune in September 28th. It's going to be in Nagoya, Japan. It's going to be absolutely electric. And welcome to the Japan MMA world.